Our story is about Cid Kagenou, a spirited young boy who dreams to wield his powers over the world while lurking in the shadows. While most crave the spotlight, Cid harbors a different dream. He longs to become the true mastermind behind it all, pulling the strings and having his machinations drive the entire story. Hey Otaku fam! Welcome to Otaku Recap Realm. Let us hit our goal of 1,000 likes together. Please like and subscribe to our new channel for more anime recaps. Thanks for tuning in and support. Continuing on, from a Tokyo tale of unfulfilled dreams, Cid's ambitious spirit is reborn in a magical era. Now, with his Shadow Garden organization, he charts a path through darkness. Get ready for an adventure unveiling the one true eminence in shadow. The tale begins with a well-known actress and diligent student named Akane Nishino, who appears friendly with her classmates. However, this friendly demeanor is just a cover to hide her inner anger and bitterness caused by a past incident where a fan kidnapped and molested her. She dislikes everyone around her, especially Minoru Kagenou, our protagonist, a classmate who barely acknowledges her and struggles to remember her name. Meanwhile, we see a glimpse of Kagenou solely playing the piano in an empty room, showing his lonesome personality. The story takes a turn when Nishino is going home alone and is kidnapped by criminals planning to ransom her. Kagenou, disguised as a masked vigilante called Stylish Bandit Slayer, intervenes to save her. The crooks don't take him seriously at first, but their perception quickly changes when they witnessed him rocking dual crowbars, earning him the nickname Balaclava Berserker. He effortlessly takes down the bad guys, setting Nishino free. She can't help but suspect Kagenou's involvement in her rescue. A few days later, Kagenou's story takes a tragic turn as he's unexpectedly hit by a truck and meets his end. In a flashback, Kagenou reveals his lifelong dream of becoming a secret mastermind, pulling the strings from the shadows to protect the innocent. Inspired by fictional heroes, he dedicated himself to martial arts, hoping to one day reach a level of power to overcome even a nuclear bomb. In his final moments, Kagenou regrets that no matter how intense his training or determined his efforts, reaching the level of power he dreamed of was practically impossible due to the constraints of physics. His aspirations were hindered, leaving him an ordinary human despite his endeavors. However, in a surprising twist, death opens a new chapter for Kagenou. He finds himself reborn in an alternate world, now equipped with magical superpowers. With a renewed sense of purpose, he once again commits himself to manipulating and controlling society from the shadows, adopting the persona of the eminence in shadow. In this alternate realm, Minoru Kagenou takes on a new identity as Cid Kagenou. Born to Baron and Lady Kagenou, minor nobles in the kingdom of Midgar, he also has a very talented sister named Claire. Staying true to his past life, Cid, in his typical background character persona at day, secretly trains and resumes his vigilante pursuits at night wearing a black bodysuit, eliminating bandits, demonstrating his new slime powers to fulfill his dream of being the mysterious mastermind. This episode shows his great interests in gold as well. Consequently, Cid stumbles upon a peculiar living blob of decaying flesh. After some experimentation, he successfully lifts the curse, revealing the creature's true form of an alluring and captivating elven girl. For his own entertainment, Cid, playing the role of eminence in shadow, spins a tale for the elven girl. He convinces her that she's a descendant of legendary heroes who once vanquished a demon named Diablos, and a cult is now attempting to revive it. He introduced himself as Shadow with his line, "He who lurks in the shadows to hunt the shadows." Hooked on his fabricated narrative, the girl not only believes his every word, but also falls head over heels for Cid, swearing her undying loyalty. Together, they agree to form a group called Shadow Garden to thwart the cult's plans. Cid nicknames her Alpha, all the while finding amusement in the fact that she wholeheartedly buys into his entirely made-up story. 3 years passed, Cid and Claire were training with their swords. Unbeknownst to Claire, Cid is just playing to be weak. Out of the blue, Claire is kidnapped. Alpha, now leading a group called the Shadow Seven, with members Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, and Eta under Cid's command, tracks down Claire. They discover She's been taken by the real cult of Diablos. Oblivious to the cult's existence, Cid believes the girls are just playing along and has no clue about the actual threat. He leads an assault, thinking they're going after regular bandits, and showing his enormous magical energy, most of the cultists meet their end. Amidst the chaos, Claire escapes, unaware of Cid's involvement, and continues with her plans to join Midgar Academy. Cid, still clueless about the true events, gets a surprise when Alpha and the other shadows suddenly announce their departure. The 7 shadows scatter across the globe to track down the cult, but Cid thinks they've simply outgrown their role-playing phase with him. Following in Claire's footsteps, he enrolls in Midgar Academy. There, he conceals his abilities and actively avoids drawing attention. Opting for an average life, he befriends 2 ordinary boys, Skell and Poe. As a penalty for a poorly done test, Cid is compelled to publicly embarrass himself by delivering a fake love confession to the esteemed Alexia, a Midgar princess. Embracing his role as a typical background character, Cid goes through with the confession, only to be astonished when Princess Alexia agrees to be his girlfriend. Invited to her fencing class, Cid uncovers a surprising twist that Alexia is engaged to the royal fencing instructor Xenon. However, she harbors no intention of marrying him, and instead plans to employ Cid as a means of getting back at Xenon. Despite being fully aware of Alexia's manipulative and self-centered nature, and the fact that he's being used, Cid decides to play along. In exchange for some cash, he agrees to sustain their fake relationship. 2 weeks later, Alexia confesses to Cid that, despite her dedication to sword training, she's never matched up to her sister Iris, and got the moniker Fencer Ordinaire. Surprisingly, Cid expresses genuine appreciation for her sword style, centered around mastering the basics. This declaration irks Alexia, prompting her to call off their pretend relationship. The following day brings an unexpected turn of events. Xenon reveals that Alexia has vanished, and Cid finds himself in hot water, arrested as the primary suspect in her disappearance. Confined in a cell alongside a mutated human girl, Alexia becomes the target of a cult scientist stealing her blood, claiming that it harbors demon DNA. Meanwhile, Cid endures torture from 2 knights eager to extract Alexia's whereabouts and make him confess. However, having trained himself to endure pain, the torment proves to be useless. He is even enjoying it. He opts to play the role of a pitiful but innocent NPC, thinking it adds a touch of coolness. After enduring 5 grueling days, Princess Eris intervenes, ordering Cid's release. In a sudden turn of events, Alpha reappears to Cid, delivering news that the Shadow Garden has been keeping a close eye on the cult while increasing the scope of Shadow Garden's influence and power. Cid finds himself impressed by Alpha and the Shadows, who occasionally drop by to continue their role-playing sessions. Grateful for their continued involvement, he remains blissfully unaware of the true extent of Shadow Garden's existence and influence. Alpha unveils a plan to rescue Princess Alexia, involving 114 loyal soldiers. Cid plays along, amusing himself, thinking it's all part of the game. Little does he know, Alexia's kidnapping is real, but he mistakenly believes it's the doing of corrupt knights, and the 114 soldiers are merely background actors hired by Alpha. In a grand assault, Cid takes down the knights who tortured him, while his army actively seeks Princess Alexia. Simultaneously, the cult scientist, in a desperate move, injects Alexia's blood into the mutated girl. This desperate act turns her into a demon. She then swiftly dispatches the scientist and liberates Princess Alexia. While making their escape, Alexia crosses paths with Xenon. Shockingly, he confesses to betraying her to the cult in exchange for a promotion to a high-ranking knight. As Princess Alexia launches an attack, Xenon easily overpowers her in their duel. However, their confrontation is abruptly interrupted by the sudden arrival of Cid, dressed as Shadow. Xenon points the sword at Shadow, attributing the recent attacks on the cult to him, and declares himself a core member of the cult. Chaos ensues as the demon girl wreaks havoc in the city, engaging in a fierce battle with Princess Iris. Suddenly, Alpha unveils herself to Iris as a member of Shadow Garden. With a single yet very powerful strike, she defeats the demon and then disappears. In the midst of the turmoil, Cid engages in a duel with Zenon, showcasing dominance and huge difference in strength. Princess Alexia, unaware that Shadow is Cid in disguise, is captivated by his sword style. It resonates with the essence of the style she has long sought in her life, the style of a fencer ordinaire. Aware of his inferiority against Shadow, Zenon resorts to swallowing pills that transform him into a demonic force, enhancing his power. However, drawing on the principles of a nuclear explosion he had envisioned, Shadow triggers a magical bomb by uttering the words, "I am atomic." The explosion dissolves everything within its radius to atoms, obliterating Zenon and causing extensive destruction to the now evacuated city, leaving behind a massive crater. Reunited with Iris, Princess Alexia is now more determined than ever to master her chosen sword style. With Zenon gone and recalling Cid's admiration for her sword style, Princess Alexia extends a genuine offer to become his actual girlfriend. However, Cid swiftly rejected her proposal, prompting a violent response from her. Alpha, back to her investigative duties, looks into a group posing as Shadow Garden and engaging in criminal activities. Simultaneously, Iris initiates a kingdom-wide probe into both the cult of Diablos and Shadow Garden. With a tool in hand, looking for someone who can decipher its functions is a priority. The imposter Shadow Garden persists in committing murders, causing ongoing chaos. Iris entrusts a recovered cult relic to Sherry, the kingdom's top researcher, with pink hair, to decipher it. Accompanied by his friends Poe and Skell, Cid visits a new department store where he learns that his subordinate, the pretty yet clumsy, as she always trips, Gamma, is the mastermind behind it. The purpose is to generate funds for Shadow Garden, with branches spread across every city globally. Although impressed, Cid remains convinced that Gamma is merely playing a role, unaware that Gamma is now the owner of numerous stores, making him one of the wealthiest individuals in the world. Cid encounters New, the latest addition to the named members of Shadow Garden. Whilst asking for chocolate from Gamma, Cid steals a gold coin in his stash using his slime as if it is not his money. On their way home, sensing something, he made a hilarious way to sneak out of his group with his friends. Posing as Shadow, he witnesses Alexia engaged in a battle against multiple murderers. He steps in, saving Alexia, eliminating the murderers, and leaving one survivor to New for interrogation. Meanwhile, the boss of the murderers, Gaunt Knight, confirms that they have found the relic. Despite Alexia's confirmation that Shadow Garden is not responsible for the murders, Iris maintains that they are enemies of the kingdom. Cid, Poe, and Skell purchase chocolate from Cid's store and decide to try their luck with confessing to girls. Skell's confession takes an unfortunate turn, resulting in him being punished by the girl's fiancé. Poe's attempt ends in arrest, mistaken for a stalker. Opting for a different approach, Cid decides to give the remaining chocolate to anyone. By chance and another coincidence, Sherry becomes the recipient. Ruslan, her adoptive father and vice principal, enlightens the naive Sherry about the chocolates, suggesting they might be a love confession. He encourages her to make a quick decision so as not to keep Cid waiting. He then reminded her that her research, deciphering the relic, is important, but interaction with others is as well. That was it from today's journey. Thanks for tuning in to the recap of episodes 1 to 6 of Eminence in Shadow Season 1. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our new channel. Turn on the notification bell to stay updated on the upcoming parts and other anime recaps. Your support means a lot. Thanks for watching.